Men in general judge more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel. You walk in late on purpose, not sloppy late, calculated late. The room is already hot with whispers and open laptops. You greet 2 people, not 10. You take the chair with the cleanest sightlines back to the wall, view of the door, angle on the screens. You place your phone face down. You don't fidget. Your silence presses like a thumb on a pulse. A manager coughs. A rival smirks. Someone tries a joke to test the air. You nod once. Not a grin, not a shrug, just enough to register life. Then you start on time. You end early. You name owners, attach clocks, clip the drifting talk. With no speeches about leadership, you lead. The room adjusts to your cadence before any argument lands. Posture beats paragraphs. Timing beats enthusiasm. Stillness beats noise. You are not hiding. You are pricing. Every unsaid detail is an unspent coin. When you keep your schedule tight, you force others to bid with theirs. When you keep your plan inside the ribcage and show only its bones, milestones, not motives, you make allies compete to be included. Information is currency. Leaks are discounts. The person who overshares turns himself into a clearance aisle. Open boxes, missing parts, easy returns. Understand me is not a right. It is a negotiable. You can offer clarity like an invoice, line items, due dates, penalties, and still keep your inner calculations locked in the vault. The vault is your value. Doors without locks invite tourists. Doors with locks attract investors. Watch the corridors where favors trade hands like cigarettes. The talkers spill everything: strategy, fear, who they envy, hoping sympathy will turn into safety. But sympathy isn't policy, it is weather. Nice moments pass like cloud cover. Your terms are climate. You don't need to explain your entire heart to set a boundary. Here's the window, here's the rate, here's the consequence. That's not cold, that's coherent. People respect reliable walls more than warm fog. Fortuna throws wind, gossip, rumors, cancelled meetings, sudden budget cuts. A last-minute pitch, they say, you must join. Virtue builds a roof from silence and order. You choose what to show and when to show it. You choose who hears the plan and who hears the summary. You triage by reliability, not volume. You let other men chase applause while you accrue position. Silence is not passive, it is aim. It narrows risk because it gives your critics fewer handles. It multiplies options because unopened doors can still become exits. Consider the bar after work. The loudest stories are about chaos. The dramatic ex, the unfair boss, the client who needs me now. Chaos is a sales pitch for attention. You don't buy. You sip slow, answer late, leave early. People feel the gravity of what you're not saying. They start to check their own volume. They edit themselves around you. This is not mystique for mystique's sake. This is governance. Your restraint teaches them how to approach, when to approach, and what it will cost if they waste the approach. In your messages, the same logic, short lines, fixed hours. You reply fastest to the reliable. You give the loud a longer wait. You do not punish with speeches, you price with cadence. That rhythm tells the crowd how to move if they want near. Scarcity beats charm because scarcity is measurable. It can be scheduled, tested, proven. Charm burns out under fluorescent lights. Clocks don't. You can still be kind, you can still laugh, but you let kindness live inside rules. Private warmth, public steadiness. If a favor is granted, it is entered on a ledger. If a boundary is crossed, it is taxed. You don't threaten, you don't plead. You post terms once and keep them. The city learns your silhouette. The man who doesn't waste himself explaining. The man who arrives like a metronome and leaves like a verdict. So the weapon isn't volume, it is control, appearances and incentives. What they see first is a pattern they can lean on. What they can't see is your engine, the part that never begs to be understood. You ration what you reveal the way a fortress rations light at night. Slits, not windows, enough to aim, never enough to invite a siege. Speak less, show timing, post terms. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. The elevator doors part on a glass boardroom. You arrive 2 minutes after the hour measured, not late. You greet 2 people, not 10. You sit where you can see every face and the exit. The friendly manager fills the air with jokes and promises. You draw a clock on the whiteboard. Start, stop. Owners, next check. When the meeting ends 10 minutes early, your chair is already pushed in. They watch you leave, not because you spoke the most, but because you made time move. In every city office, bar, family table, the room prices you buy, cadence before it hears content. Now the street-level truth. The friendly manager is farmed for favors. Colleagues deposit tasks like coins in a slot. He covers a mistake today and a weekend tomorrow. When promotions post, his name is missing. He is thanked for being such a help. The always available boyfriend answers in 3 rings from the treadmill, from dinner, from sleep. Her interest cools. Why chase what waits by the door? In the group chat, the loudest person types, urgent, and everyone kneels to their read receipts. With every reflex, yes, you tutor the crowd to discount you. Popular is not powerful. Popular is busy, exposed, and cheap. The shield of nice is paper. People remember when you charged and when you did not how warmly you smiled. Charm impresses, clarity governs. If you want safety, price yourself. If you want authority, post your prices and show your receipts. Power respects scarcity and standards, never unlimited access. Patience feels like virtue because it is warm in the moment. But weather is not climate. Affection is weather pleasant, changeable, unreliable. Consequence is climate predictable, shaping, inescapable. When you wait without a price, you publish a forecast. Storms of disrespect followed by seasons of regret. Indefinite waiting reads as no cost. People are not monsters, they are rational. If the bus is free and always open, riders pile in and stay. If your doorway never closes, the hallway fills with requests until you cannot breathe. Price your patience. Tie it to clocks. I can hold for 10 minutes. I can deliver Friday if numbers arrive by noon. I'm happy to talk at 6. I'm not available at midnight. Not threatening accounting. Adults respect doors that close. Children test doors that do not. Rejections shrink when timing is posted because surprise disappears. The world learns that your yes is a scheduled train, not a rideshare at 3 a.m. You believe tone keeps peace. It does not. Tone without timetable is theater. Soothing words without posted times are perfume on mold. Real order is procedural. A board on the wall, a rule on the page, a consequence that arrives like sunrise. You do not need anger for enforcement. You need schedules. Response window, 24 hours. Owner, Maya. Penalty for miss. Task reassigns. Access reduced for 2 weeks. People move toward clocks because clocks move without them. Even the dramatic learn to arrive on time when the gate actually closes. Look at your own evidence. The friend who says, I value you so much, and cancels 3 times values you less than the colleague who speaks bluntly and arrives 5 minutes early. The lover who writes long apologies and repeats the same break is less loyal than the quiet partner who sets a reminder and never misses. Show me the timetable, not the tenderness. Tenderness that ignores time is counterfeit. It spends your future. Time is the only currency that never refunds. Flattery is cheap currency where standards are absent. "You're amazing at this," slides into, "Can you do it tonight?" No one handles fires like you becomes, "The fire is now yours." Apology turns into policy. Sorry for the late notice becomes the late notice. When praise replaces payment and apology replaces consequence, extraction wears a smile. Put price tags back on your calendar. "Thanks for the compliment. Here's my window and my rate." If they vanish, you found a fan, not a client. If they negotiate, you found a partner. If they comply, you found an ally. Popular men run errands for many courts and rule none. Powerful men run calendars. They are not loud, they are legible. Their standards are posted, and their follow-through is boring in the best way. They treat friendship as friendship and policy as policy, no mixing, no discounts. They can be gentle and still decisive. They can be fair and still final, because they keep scarcity real and standards visible. Start small. Reply last to the chronic dramatist and first to the reliable builder. When someone says urgent, ask by which clock. When a request is vague, put it on rails. Owner? Deadline? What happens if we miss? If there is no answer, there is no job. There is only emotion looking for a mule. You are not the mule. You are the gate. Gates open on schedule and close on schedule. The city learns. Your voice stays low, your posture straight, your exits clean. You do not lecture about boundaries, you demonstrate them. Fridays, the laptop shuts at 6. Sundays, the phone sleeps in another room. If a meeting drifts, you stand, recap, and leave. We're past the window, send the notes. No heat, only architecture. 2 weeks of this, and the weather shifts. Fewer emergencies. Fewer midnight pings. Fewer jokes that test your thresholds. People weren't confused. They were waiting for a clock that ticks. This is not cruelty. It is mercy with edges. You protect the hours that feed your body and the work that feeds your future. You stop letting other people's unplanned fires burn your house down. Goodwill without guardrails becomes extraction. Charm without scarcity becomes service. The myth dies. Popular is not equal to powerful. The truth rises. Clear terms and consistent scarcity are the grammar of respect. So post your clocks, name your owners, publish your penalties, smile when you mean it, not when you need something. Keep some silence for leverage. Make your yes expensive and your no brief. Then watch the weather calm and the climate harden into order. They might call you colder. They will also call you when it matters. Be kind, stay scarce, enforce. You don't lose power in a moment, you leak it in minutes. You see it in your thumbs. A message lands with a small red dot, and your pulse nudges your hand forward. You answer fast, cleaner than you think, because you want to be seen as good, competent, indispensable. Approval hunger turns seconds into a siren. You pay with speed, and you charge nothing for it. They feel your velocity and price you accordingly. Free rush, no minimums, always open. Consider the late-night emergency. A colleague pings you at 11:42 p.m. with tiny fix. You are already in bed, but you roll over, open the laptop, and patch it in 7 minutes. They reply with heart emojis and lifesaver. Next week it's not a tiny fix, it's a deck. Same hour. You deliver in 40 minutes. No overtime, no explicit trade. Next quarter they choose someone else to lead someone who replied at 9 a.m., billed properly, and asked for clear scope. Your speed sold your crown. Their thanks bought your silence. Or the romantic version. A partner texts, "Can you talk?" You stop a workout, call instantly, and talk them down from a storm they made. You think love requires reflex rescue. They learn they can summon you with distress. Weeks pass. Your goals drift. Their mood governs your calendar. When you finally ask for a favor, they are tired or busy. You were not building intimacy, you were subsidizing it. Speed became a discount code for your attention. Now, the unpaid favor loop. A friend needs 5 minutes of your expertise. You give 30. They return with, "We actually added you to the group chat," which means you just joined a volunteer staff. They send quick thoughts before breakfast, and you reply between bites. Months later, when you ask for a small intro, they ghost for a week. You taught them your help is instant and free. They taught you their gratitude is slow and cheap. Approval hunger is timing corruption. Your reflex speed advertises that your priorities are negotiable and your limits are porous. People are not villains. They are readers of signals. If the gate has no hinge, they won't wait for you to open it. They will walk in. If you want different trades, alter the clock. Slow your yes on purpose. Post your windows. When you answer within the time you set, you keep both competence and price. When you answer outside it, you donate your crown. Conflict avoidance sells you more quietly, but more expensively. It begins with the flinch someone tests you in public, a small jab dressed as a joke. "He's our panic button," says a peer during stand-up, and the room laughs. You smile to keep the weather warm. No correction. The phrase repeats in 2 meetings, then appears in email. "Congratulations, you are now infrastructure for other people's poor planning. Watch the calendar chaos." A vendor misses a deadline and posts a cheerful note. "Bumping to Monday." You accept and add exclamation points. You think you kept harmony. Tuesday brings another quick bump. You nod again. By Friday, the delay is a meme. You have trained them that lateness is a fee you pay. Your unwillingness to name the penalty increased the eventual spectacle. Now, leadership is involved. You scroll the thread, your stomach tight, your cursor on apology drafts. Had you asserted a small cost early reassignment, reduced scope, or paid extension, the breach would have shrunk. Because you delayed the cost, the test grew teeth. The family version: a relative lobs a public critique at dinner. You act superior with your routine, they say, fork raised, eyes seeking allies. You chuckle, pour water, and talk about traffic. You think you preserved peace. You trained the table that you absorb disrespect to keep dessert sweet. Next holiday, the joke hardens, and a cousin adds a punchline. The room learns your boundaries are negotiable whenever a laugh can be mined. What you feared awkwardness arrives amplified and scheduled. Avoiding conflict feels like prudence. It is deferred interest. Lateness without cost accrues. Disrespect without correction spreads. The spectacle you dread becomes a calendar item because you refuse to charge at the door. Machiavellian. Prudence is not rage. It is early, proportionate price. Private, brief, specific. That joke reduces my role. Don't repeat it. This miss shifts scope to preserve the deadline. Next, delay triggers reassignment. Not threats, tariffs. People obey tariffs because tariffs arrive without emotion. You became a storm chaser when you could have been a toll booth. Scarcity panic is the third leak, a scramble that hands your time to the worst bidder. It usually starts with money, fear, or status envy. The month is thin, a rival just won something, your phone is too quiet. The next urgent request pings, and you grab it before reading the terms. Ledger snapshot, entry 1, 712 noisy client. Writes, "Help." You reply in 2 minutes, waive your rate, and jump on a call. Deliverable unclear, payment after the event. Entry 2, 940 reliable client. B shares a well-scoped brief with standard fee and Wednesday deadline. You stall because you are already entangled with A. Entry 3, 1055. Friend C asks for quick feedback on a pitch. You agree to look in an hour. End of day. You've spent 6 hours triaging A's chaos, given C 30 minutes of free consulting, and sent B a "can we push to Thursday?" Your rate fell. Your best partner waited. Your loudest problem owner learned they own you. Scarcity panic reorders the queue and drops your price. The result is not more security. It is cheaper labor and weaker alliances. Cold repair requires numbers, not moods. Track your last 10 incoming requests. For each, note who asked, how loud, how fast you replied, whether you invoiced, whether you enforced scope, and whether that person respects you now. You will likely find a pattern. The loudest always received first attention and the smallest penalty. The quiet, reliable ones got courtesy delays. Reverse it. Make a rule. Reliable first, loud last. Charge an urgency tax for same-day work. Post the tax publicly. Watch the noise drop and the base strengthen. Now stitch the 3 wounds together. The approval addict front-loads speed and back-loads resentment. The conflict-avoidant leader postpones price until the bill is unpayable. The scarcity-panicked operator starves the garden to water a fire hydrant. Together they create a map of weakness anyone can read. Rooms read you before you speak. Calendars read you before you decide. Your wounds have been writing your policy. Turn to small, visible edits. For approval, hunger. Decide your response windows in advance. Family, clients, friends. Use templated replies that signal schedule, not affection. Saw this. Window tomorrow noon, 2. If urgent, here's the rate. You don't need to feel strong to send it. You need to send it to feel strong. For conflict avoidance, install a 2-step rule: private correction within 24 hours, public restatement if breach repeats. Write the correction down. When the second breach occurs, do not escalate emotion. Escalate clarity. For scarcity, panic. Draft a weekly capacity line: X hours for core partners, Y for new prospects, Z for pro bono. Once the line is full, say no, not forever this week. Next week reopens. Desire grows where doors actually close. Use rehearsals. Ask a friend to text you 3 fake emergencies over 2 days. Practice the same calm reply each time. Feel the surge. Let it pass. Type the schedule. Repeat until your thumbs wait for the clock instead of the compliment. For conflict, pick one soft jab you have been tolerating and script 2 sentences. Speak them the next time the moment appears. You will feel heat in your face. Breathe and finish the sentence. The world will not end. Your market will adjust. Understand, you are not eliminating kindness. You are eliminating leakage. You can be generous by plan, not panic. You can be patient by contract, not flattery. You can be loving inside hours that protect your craft and your sleep. Power, in the Machiavellian sense, is not a roar. It is an operating system. Your wounds wrote the last version. You will write the next. Approval hunger will still knock. Conflict will still tempt you to look away. Scarcity will still whisper that any buyer is a good buyer. Expect the whispers. Price them. Post them. Answer them with clocks, tariffs, and order. Then notice what returns. Time to think. Allies who wait their turn. Partners who pay on time. Rooms where your name carries weight because your schedule carries law. Slow your yes. Charge your no. Enforce in daylight. Men in general judge more by the eyes than by the hands. Machiavelli, the night breaks in your phone first. A screenshot travels faster than rumor, and rumor faster than your breath. You stare at blue light as a colleague's private jab becomes a public thread with your name nailed to it. Your chest heats. Your thumbs tense. You type, delete, type, delete. At 3 a.m., the ceiling is a blank court with no jury, only the fans hum and your pulse. When the mask slips, people watch what you count. Do you sprint toward the fire or toward the ledger? Is your first move apology, gossip, or time? You can throw gasoline on the rumor with frantic replies, Or you can draw a small circle and bring out a ruler. Calm does not erase pain. It escorts it to a chair and gives it water. The point is not to feel nothing. The point is to force feeling to wait while the law is posted. You open a page and write the scene as if you were not the one burned. Who broke which term? Where? When? Witnessed by whom? List the instruments you own: access, opportunity, credit, silence, deadlines. Imagine the office as a small republic. In a republic, fury is a speech, policy is a calendar. Your future depends on which one you choose. From begging to pricing, this is the pivot that lifts the floor under your feet. The old questions, why me? How could they? Invite storms. They have no end and no invoice. Replace them with prices. What did I reward? What did I tax? In the last month, how many late arrivals paid nothing? How many favors cleared without return? Put numbers beside the hurts and they change shape. Hurt is smoke. Price is brick. Consider the boardroom. You stayed late 3 nights to cover a peer, shipped their scope, and let your name fall off the deck because the client prefers one voice. You received a thank you and a promise of next time. A month later, promotion bypassed you. Was it malice? Maybe. Was it policy? Definitely. You trained the room that your throughput comes without ceremony and without tariff. The fix is a posting. Cross-team lifts require co-credit on slide 1 and a backlog swap for hours spent. The romantic version: you answer midnight calls, reschedule your training, explain your calendar like a defendant explaining alibis. The more you explain, the more your time smells like an open market. You believe love will soften once understood, but understanding without limits does not create love. It creates harvest. Price affection with windows and see who arrives when the gate opens. Keep the window small and regular. If they only come with sirens, they are shoppers, not allies. Now the cold sunlight checklist. The matrix is simple: behavior, past consequence, intended consequence, public signal. Fill it like a quarter close. Example 1. Behavior: public jab about your role in stand-up. Past consequence: you laughed, added context, moved on. Intended consequence: private correction within 24 hours. If repeated, removal from updates for 2 weeks. Public signal: roles clarified, updates will follow, posted owners. Example 2. Behavior: vendor misses delivery, announces pushing to Friday. Past consequence: you replied, no worries. Intended consequence: scope reduction or paid extension immediately. Public signal: to protect the deadline, we're trimming features and applying a rush. Fee per terms. Example 3. Behavior: partner explodes by text during your work block. Past consequence: you rushed to call back. Intended consequence: respond after the block with a clear slot. If repeated, downgrade access to a weekly check-in. Public signal: non-private law, enforced by timing. The matrix does 3 things. It turns pain into a ledger you can enforce. It tells the crowd what the law is without theater, and it returns your voice to a normal volume. The city trusts a steward who writes, not a torch carrier who shouts. You will feel the swing back to old reflexes. The rumor will pull on your lungs. The family chat will ding. A peer will ask, are we good? Meaning, are you going to stay silent so I can stay comfortable? Your throat will warm with speeches. Hold still. Take one small step the matrix requires. Write the private correction. Schedule the consequence. Put it on the clock, not in your veins. Practice helps. Compose templates when you are calm. For disrespect, that comment reduces my role. Don't repeat it. Here's how we'll proceed. For delay, to hit the date we're narrowing scope now. Future misses trigger a fee or reassignment. For access storms, I'm in a block. My window is 3-4 p.m. If urgent, here are the terms. Templates are not cold, they are guardrails. They protect you from negotiating with adrenaline. Audit your last 10 breaches. Mark which ones you addressed, when, and how. If 4 or more received leniency, expect larger storms. If the loudest violator still holds the best slot on your calendar, prepare for spectacle. This is not fate, it is math. Shift 2 slots to your most reliable allies and watch the weather improve. The city rewards predictable stewards. Your job is not to be loved, it is to be read as steady. Stagecraft matters. Reward in daylight, punish quietly and proportionately. Announce standards, not scandals. People remember laws, they forget rants. When you exit someone, recover your assets, close the loop with one line, and say nothing else. Silence here is not surrender, it is design. Remember Fortuna and Virtu. Fortune throws dice and executive changes. A team reshuffles. Someone needs a villain to explain a miss. Virtu responds with structure, clocks and tariffs. When you are steady, fortune still hits, but it lands softer because the floor is oak, not water. Rejection becomes a sorting tool, not a verdict. Those who thrive under your terms come closer. Those who rage against them select themselves out. By dawn, the city stirs. You have not slept much, but you have pages. The anger is quieter because it has been accounted for. You set 3 actions for the morning: the private correction, the posted standard, the calendar change. You dress plain, arrive on time, and speak less than you want. You end on schedule. People feel the boundary. They learn more from your timing than from your tone. You are the custodian of your price. Write the tariff. Enforce early. Retreat from speeches. Advance the calendar. The room will adjust. The city will remember. Count first, post terms, and let time do the talking. It is much safer to be feared than loved if one of the two has to be wanting. Machiavelli, you were told devotion would come if you were available. You learned to answer fast, stay late, smooth every edge. What arrived instead was a line of hands and a calendar with your name erased. So rename what happened, and the fog lifts. Start with the office. Supportive boss sounds warm. Write the invoice. Beneficiary of free overwork. You covered 2 sprints that weren't yours, moved your weekend, and accepted a great hustle in place of credit. The true title is Customer of Unpaid Capacity. Issue the correction. Cross-team lifts require co-credit on page 1, and any extra hours trigger a swap or fee. Calm, bureaucratic. You are not angry, you are aligning terms. Move to the friend who texts at midnight with, "Bro, emergency." You drove across town, paid the bill, and listened to a speech about loyalty. The label, "Loyal Friend," flatters your wound. Write what it was. 24/7 access renter at 0 rate. New arrangement. Scheduled windows for real help, and repayment in money or meaningful effort. If he calls that cold, translate unused to paying market price. Now the romance. You gave up the gym slot, the study hour, the quiet morning to be present. Affection was the perfume. The contract was silent. You trained the bond to believe your time was always on tap. Reframe it. Access is a product. Products have packages. The person who respects you buys the right package. Predictable availability, clear no-go zones, and a mutual calendar that protects both sides. Anyone who needs you to be always on needs a servant, not a partner. Affection is weather. Alliance is climate. Weather shifts with mood and music. Climate is posted by policy. You can care and still schedule. In fact, care without clocks rots. The couple that survives is not the one with the longest calls. It's the one with the cleanest terms. response windows, privacy rules, escalation paths for conflict. Tenderness grows when people know what happens next. The rest is theater that burns you down. Detach your worth from warmth. Praise is a balloon. Let it go. Standards are brick. When someone says, "You're amazing, we couldn't do this without you," hear the smoke, ask for the stone. Then the next deck bears my name. Then the next schedule protects my hours. Then the next budget reflects my rate. If the face falls when you ask, you were never loved, you were least. Access does not equal respect. Many will seek proximity because you are useful, not because they honor the boundary that makes you durable. The manager who just needs you for 5 minutes during your deep work block values his ease over your craft. The friend who insists you answer mid-meeting values his panic over your promise. The partner who floods your phone during your deadline values their mood over your mission. Respect is measured by how they behave in the face of your posted lines. If your lines never exist, you never learn the truth. The test is cost. Loyalty is not a speech or a memory. It's payment when it burns. When your standard raises their time cost, do they still come? When your no protects your focus, do they adjust without guilt? When your rate finally reflects the value they brag about, do they wire funds or vanish into tight times? Rotate every relationship through one frame. What do they do when it costs them time, status, or money? Time. You shift your office hour from any time to a 45-minute daily window. The real ally rearranges and lands inside it. The renter bangs the door at 11 p.m. and calls your window rigid. Status. In the meeting, you insist co-credit is named aloud. The real ally speaks your name into the room. The renter says titles aren't important while pocketing the applause. Money. You move from favor to invoice. The real ally pays on time without apology. The renter drafts a poem about the spirit of the work. Post these tests like road signs. Here are my windows. Here are my decision rights. Here are the fees for changes and the toll for disrespect. Not angry. Printed. Predictable. Every time someone crosses, apply the tariff. Do not explain 3 times. Do not apologize for the policy that keeps you effective. A contract is what you can enforce without mood. You will feel soft for a week. You will worry that the room will call you selfish. Let them. The ones who benefit from your vagueness will complain loudest when the fog clears. That noise is a map. Follow it to the door. You will also feel sudden quiet, fewer messages, fewer emergencies. This is not rejection, this is plumbing. Leaks stop when valves close. The pressure becomes usable. Your morning becomes straight lines. Your nights become silent again. The rental metaphor is not cynicism, it is hygiene. Good citizens renew leases gladly because they value the space. Parasites look for new hosts when the rent is due. You are not punishing anyone by charging. You are preserving the system that makes you worth knowing. Men who are worth chasing protect the machine that builds their value. They ration access to protect pace. They reward those who pay in discipline. They remove those who pay in praise. Write 3 documents today: an availability policy, a credit policy, and a consequence policy. Availability. Windows. Do not disturb blocks. Emergency paths with fees. Credit. Where your name appears. Which wins you will publicly share. What swaps occur when you carry extra weight. Consequence. First miss gets a reset. Second miss loses access. Third ends the arrangement cleanly. Then walk your week by them. The room will test you. Smile, point to the wall, and keep time. You do not need to be harsh. You need to be read. A stable price is a kindness. It tells the market what to expect. It attracts the disciplined and repels the desperate. It turns support into measurable exchange and turns you from a faucet into a fountain with a gate. That gate is how devotion is discovered, not in songs, but in who shows up at the posted hours with clean hands and full payment. Name the rental, price the access, keep only those who pay in deeds. Silence that governs is louder than speeches. You build respect with what you make people do, not with what you make them feel. So you assemble a quiet machine, small, strict, repeatable to price your time and tighten your circle. You do not explain it, you run it. Those who pass the machine move closer. Those who fail discover distance without quarrel. First, vetting by small storms. You do not audition people with grand tests. You watch them in minor weather. Invite the new collaborator to a 7:40 a.m. call and move it to 7:30 on the morning of. Do they arrive, camera on, notes ready, or do you get a paragraph of reasons? Give a minor secret, nothing fatal, just a harmless detail stamped with their name, and measure the leak across a week. Do you hear it back from a second mouth? Offer a low-stakes reciprocity. You push their link once, they owe a share later. Does the share happen without reminders? Punctuality under pressure, discretion with crumbs, repayment on token favors, these are your tripwires. Fail once, note it. Fail twice, log it. Fail thrice, close the gate with a smile. Second, standards you can point at. If a rule is only in your chest, it has already failed. You write what you expect where eyes can find it. Response windows by category, decision rights by role, zero tolerance lines that trigger separation. Example, general replies, 24 hours, urgent replies, 2 hours, tagged urgent with a single question. Deep work block, 9/11, no pings, emergencies cost a fee. Decision rights, content final cut, me. Budget approvals, me and finance. Public claims, pre-approved lines only. Zero tolerance, no lying, no leaks, no public contempt, any of the three ends the arrangement that day. You post it once in the shared space. You reference it, not your mood, when it matters. It becomes artifact, not argument. Third, the enforcement ladder. Your calm is the message. L1 private correction plus written reset. You pull the person aside. Yesterday's leak crossed line 2. Reread the standard. Here is the new reset. Any forward-looking conversations remain in room A only, with notes shared at day's end. You send a short written record of the reset, no adjectives, just the rule and the timestamp. L2 loss of access or opportunity, plus public restatement. The second breach removes them from the next meeting or moves them off the next bid, and you state the general principle to the group without naming the offender. We protect pre-release intel. Breaches lose launch access for one cycle. L3 decisive exit plus asset recovery plus clean narrative. There is no fourth step. You collect passwords, files, and keys. You close their entry points in one day. You announce the transition in one calm paragraph that thanks the effort and confirms the continuity plan. You do not argue. You do not defend. You present the end as completed and get back to work. Fourth, stagecraft and witnesses. You reward in daylight so good behavior becomes culture. Credits on the slide. A quick toast at the Friday stand-up. A thank you message pinned for a week. People learn where the light is. You punish in quiet, with timing you control. Delay a consequence one day if the room is hot. Apply it when the crowd will absorb without spectacle. Choose the audience for every action. Praise is public and brief. Discipline is private and documented. Principles are restated to all at natural checkpoints. Your silence between moves is not empty. It is a screen on which others project your weight. The lesson is taught once, widely, because you staged it well. Fifth, exit as oxygen. You hold alternatives so you can always walk. Keep 2 parallel channels for clients. 2 vendor options for critical paths, 1 additional room where your value is recognized. Maintain portable proofs, case studies with signatures, testimonials with dates, numbers that travel. Maintain liquidity, a cash buffer, a skill that sells in 3 markets, a public portfolio that does not depend on any one ally. You do not mention these backups, you simply have them. The knowledge that you can exit at any time lowers your pulse and raises your price. Operationally, you turn mystery into system. Your calendar does not show your life, it shows your gates. Office hours appear as 2 blocks. The rest is capacity reserved. Your status says, in focus, reply by 4 p.m. rather than DND. When asked for updates, you offer outcomes, not diaries. Prototype complete testing window opens Tuesday. The fewer internal details you leak, the more the room must ask with currency access, introductions, budget. You do not hoard, you meter. You are generous with what compounds respect. Clear briefs, crisp timelines, clean credits. You are stingy with what dilutes leverage. Motive, doubt, future moves. People can rely on your function. They cannot game your psychology. Write the scripts in advance. Work. I'll have an answer by 4 p.m. If you need earlier, trade me a slot or drop a scope. Romance. I'm free Wednesday 6/8. If that works, confirm by noon. If not, and suggest 2 windows. Friends, call me at 5. If it's urgent before then, text urgent plus 1 line, and I'll triage. When bait arrives, dramatic texts, public pokes, performative apologies, you decline the theater with 1 sentence and a forward step. We'll return to the plan at 10. Please send the document. It is remarkable how quickly noise dries up when it yields no attention. Yield. Protect the machine from yourself. Your wounds will want to explain. Your impatience will want to flex. Your loneliness will want to overshare. Let the framework carry you. If the standard is printed, point to it. If the ladder is triggered, climb it without adding adjectives. Never negotiate rules in the moment that breaks them. You only negotiate what the next rule will be for tomorrow. In this way, your silence becomes policy, not sulk. Track 3 indicators weekly. Respect earned. Number of times others adjusted to your windows without guilt. Price held. Rate paid versus rate posted, plus the percentage of on-time credits. Mystery maintained. Count of times you answered with outcomes instead of personal detail. If any indicator dips, inspect which step of the engine failed. Vetting too thin, standards too vague, enforcement too soft, stagecraft too messy, exits too few, and fix that exact cog. Understand, none of this requires drama. Drama is a tax you paid when you were guessing. Strategy is a discount you enjoy when you are prepared. People love to tell themselves that charisma rules the world. In fact, cadence does. The city respects clocks, gates, and consequences. When your rules are plain, your moves are calm, and your exits are real, desire follows like water finding slope. You will notice a change in the air. Meetings start on your time more often. Requests arrive cleaner, praise becomes shorter, and payments faster. The loud drift away, the reliable drift closer. They are not worshipping you, they are aligning to gravity. Your gravity is the engine, quiet, measured, indifferent to mood. You nurture it, you feed it proof, you shield it from leaks, and you run it the same on sunny days and in storms. This is the silent strategy. Test small, post rules, enforce proportionately, stage wisely, hold exits. You need fewer words when your structure speaks. You do not have to be cruel, you have to be legible. Those who can meet your clarity will thrive beside you. Those who cannot will say you changed. Accept the compliment. You moved from promises to prices, from approval to policy, from noise to rule. Guard your gates, Prize your proofs and let your silence collect the rent. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. Peace is not a candle or a song. It is a timetable that others can feel. You wake and there is no rush in your chest. No long apologies drafted in your head. Your messages are short, clean, and final. Received. 4 p.m. Scope stays the same. No. The room adjusts because your rhythm is steady, like a metronome that refuses to argue. You are not rude. You are clear. The fewer words you spend, the more weight each one carries. People learn your beats when you open the gate, when you close it, when silence means continue without me. This is what order sounds like. Footsteps that match the drum, not the drum, chasing the footsteps. Your calendar becomes a map of promises kept. 2 office hour blocks, immovable. A deep work window that no one touches without paying in scope or time. You reply on schedule, not on impulse. You do not write essays. You publish decisions. Your phone stops growling. Your nights become a corridor of quiet because the day carried the load. Questions were priced. Tasks were staged. Chatter was taxed. Where once you begged to be understood, you now state the rule and move. The storm still happens, but it breaks against a seawall of routine. Allies you can sleep beside are the ones who honor this map without needing a sermon. The teammate who sends a clean brief the first time because he knows corrections cost access next cycle. The friend who confirms plans by noon and does not twist your "can't tonight" into a referendum on affection. The partner who understands that duty hours protect tenderness, not replace it. There is no scorekeeping because the contract is alive between you. Shared wins get credit in daylight. Lapses pay a tariff. Loyalty earns priority. This is not cold. It is warm and reliable. The way a locked door is warmer than a door that rattles all night. Strength makes tenderness durable by removing confusion. You do not perform care with frantic availability. You prove care with reliability under pressure. You show up when promised, and you do not promise what you cannot defend. The people who deserve you stop hovering for reassurance and start investing because the ground under their feet is firm. They do not need constant access to feel close. They need to know that when the window opens, you are fully present. Scarcity sharpens attention. Standards conserve it. Quiet power grows each time you refuse to buy peace with extra words. A colleague tries to pull you into a late-night panic. You reply at morning bell with a checklist and a deadline. A client hints at scope creep. You paste the posted rule and offer 2 priced options. A relative uses guilt to speed your weekend. You answer with the same sentence you give any stakeholder. Next available window is Tuesday 6/7. Confirm or pass. No heat, no edge, only terms. The message spreads faster than your voice ever could. This person is calm, predictable, and expensive to waste. Your reputation stops being a rumor and becomes an artifact. Others narrate you the way sailors describe a lighthouse: steady, visible, and uninterested in argument. They can disagree with your terms, but they cannot say they were surprised by them. Desire starts to follow your rhythm because people like knowing where value will be tomorrow. They chase predictability when spectacle grows tiring. They move to your beat because your beat never moves for whims. You do not need to be mysterious. You need to be legible. You do not need to be feared. You need to be costly to disrespect. You do not need everyone. You need the few who profit by keeping covenant. Let applause find you on its own time. Let anger burn out against the glass. Your job is the same each day. Set the clock, run the rule, pay who pays you, tax who wastes you, and sleep. Set your terms, pay loyalty, tax disrespect, keep moving.